Greetings and welcome to the Wine Foundry. I am Stuart Ake with my esteemed colleague Patrick Saboe. We want to keep you in the know, so you'll be hearing from a few of your favorite voices at the winery over the next few minutes. But Patrick and I are standing in front of 3 bottles. The grape of the day, Chardonnay. Patrick, we source from 3 vineyards. Tell me about it.
3 excellent vineyards. We have Durell Vineyards in the Napa Valley, very famous vineyard. It's been used to make a number of top wines around the state here. We also have Rodgers Creek, which is in the lower southeast corner of Sonoma Coast in the Petaluma Gap sub-AVA of Sonoma Coast. And we also have a beautiful vineyard up in the Russian River called Hall Road Vineyard. All 3 creating world-class Chardonnay, just different versions and styles of that. So we're here to taste those and talk to you about that.
So we said Durell, Rodgers Creek, Hall Road. Where do you want to start?
I'd say let's start with Durell.
Okay, I'm going to move my glasses around here.
Durell is probably the lightest and prettiest of these 3 wines. Again, very famous wine, a vineyard. This to me shows incredible balance and finesse. It shows enough of the weight and ripeness that we get with some Sonoma Chardonnays, but it has some finesse and strength that perhaps the other 2 are a little less on.
Light and elegant.
Light and elegant.
I was just going to say, because Patrick said very famous. If you're familiar with Kistler or Three Sticks, this is their ground zero for those brands right there. So
and neither of those are as famous as the Wine Foundry, but that's okay. We'll let them have their due anyways.
Yes, we're trying to trumpet those little brands.
Durell is delicious.
Durell, and basically if these are 3, Baby Bear, right?
That would be the Baby Bear of those 3. Let's go on to Rodgers Creek next, which would be Mama Bear. Rodgers we've been working with for the last 7-8 years now.
About 8 years. Yeah.
And makes very balanced Chardonnay. A medium weight, let's say.
Medium to medium plus.
Yeah.
Nice palate presence.
It does. We'd like to use some of the Rodgers Creek or Hall to blend into the Durell and vice versa. So the Durell will bring a little bit more finesse to this. Rodgers is about texture and weight and balance. I think Rodgers is a nice, it's actually running it is very balanced also, so it's a little bit Baby Bear / Mama Bear, kind of maybe a half and half of those 2.
Okay, so Durell, Rodgers Creek, you want to unleash the Kraken?
Yeah, Hall Road is definitely the fullest of these 3, and
yes, it is.
It is. It is the weightiest. It brings the most texture and weight for people that really want a New World Chardonnay and the weight and oomph that comes with that. Hall Road is definitely your jam.
And 2014, the vintage itself, just more expressive.
14 is an excellent vintage. 24 is an even better vintage. But 14 was excellent. Thank you.
Lost decade. It's a terrible tragedy. Yeah.
You've been drinking since early.
I've been drinking since 2014 and haven't stopped. So that's it for the Chards. Durell, Sonoma Valley, light, elegant, pretty. I mean, it's a beautiful interpretation. Climbing the ladder, if you will, into Rodgers Creek. A little more posture, definitely more palate presence, especially in the mid palate. And then climbing the ladder, oh boy, Hall Road. That is a Metallica concert. Hey, so that's it for Chardonnay. Now we're going to pass it over to somebody else to bring you up to speed on what's going on. Cheers.
Hey, it's Rob from the Wine Foundry. We're in the middle of bottling right now, doing cabs mostly right now. Chard and Pinot coming in the middle of August. And so I want to show you the bottling line. So people who haven't seen what happens, the different parts of the bottling line, now's your time. Okay, so we got the wines here waiting in tank, and we have a hose attached to it, and then we'll follow the hose around. We got the glass waiting to be bottled, and the hose then comes over here and hooks up to the 2 filters. So this is our stereo filter here, so it runs through the filtration system to get the wine nice and clean. We got the bottles here on the bottling line waiting to go in, and then so we go over here. So this is the filler right here. So this is where the bottles get filled. See that there? It kind of goes up and down and fills. And then right here we have the corker. So this is where the corks go in. get the nice seal of the corks. And then the bottles will go down the line here. And they'll go down to here to where the capsuling is. So this will set the capsule on there and get it going. And right here, that will it'll shrink the capsule around the top of the bottle to bead. And then it would get labeled right here. And then it comes out to over here, where it will then be put in box and be ready to go.
Hello, this is Jenny Dahl from the Wine Foundry. Robert Conklin recently bottled. He's got a great story. Here he is telling it.
Robert, tell me everything about your label.
Robert Conklin with Conklin Cellars. I have a lifelong passion for wine. It was given to me by my parents. Dad was in the Navy, and he and my mother were broke, and Napa in the 1960s was a cheap date. So that's where I learned to like wine. The label is really, I'm a Texan, a proud Texan, fourth generation University of Texas graduate. So that's why the Longhorn steer and the kind of the Southwest motif. But we're bringing in the best grapes in the world from California and making it here and taking it home. And everyone loves it. So thank you very much. And Mom and Dad, toast.
Yay, thank you, Robert.
Hey guys, this is Paco. We're out in the beautiful Napa Valley doing Veraison checks today, and we're going to talk a little bit about Veraison. Veraison marks the onset of ripening, where the grapevines go from vegetative growth into trying to ripen the berries. So the most important factor about Veraison is sugar accumulation speeds up. Along with sugar accumulation, of course, comes color accumulation. The grapevines start shooting anthocyanins and accumulating them, which causes the change in red varieties from green to red. Along with color accumulation and sugar accumulation comes something very important, which is texture. The grapevines soften the berries and gain some elasticity, which is how you can see these green berries really hard, whereas the one that has started Veraison becomes a little soft. This is important because in wide varieties, we can mark or we can learn when Veraison has occurred, not by seeing the color change because they don't become red, but by touching them and seeing if they have become a little softer and more squeezier. There's a few other changes, but something I'd like to talk about is why do the grapevines do this? And I think this is really important and really fascinating when you think about the role of grapes in nature. Grapevines basically want to grow and they want to expand and make more grapevines. So what they do is when their seed inside is viable, when the seed inside one of these berries could be planted somewhere else and grow another grapevine, the grapevine marks it by making the berries colorful, making the berries sweet, and lowering the amount of acids. What does this? If you're a bear, if you're a deer, or any other animal, this is going to become a treat for you, and you're going to want to come eat these berries and then release them somewhere else. So that's the evolutionary magic and reason for Veraison. But again, really important point for us as winemakers, and that's why we're going around today and checking different vineyards. We can see that in this Cabernet, we're about 60% Veraison, and the conditions of the vineyard, canopy, shading, everything is perfect. So it looks like 2025 is going to be another beautiful year in Napa Valley.
Hi everyone, I'm Adrienne. I'm program manager for the Guild program at the Wine Foundry. I wanted to share some information about summer shipping since we're in the middle of summer right now. And this is actually relevant to non-Guild members as well. So first off, heat can damage your wine. So you don't want to ship during the hot summer months. And when you're thinking about shipping, you not only want to take a look at where it's shipping from and where it's shipping to, but also the route it's going to take. And as a reminder, or maybe this is new to you, FedEx doesn't cover any damage to your wine if it's due to weather. So one of the things that Guild members can do is educate your customers on the potential damage of shipping during hot summer months. You can either send an email out to your customers or set up an advisory text for your storefront. Another thing is that if you have to ship during summer months, I would suggest either overnight, expedited shipping, so overnight or 2-day. Right now, the fulfillment center is shipping with styrofoam and ice packs. The ice packs last about 2 days at the very most. So, and that depends on the temperature. It could be less than 2 days if it's, for example, going to Arizona. Another option, instead of doing expedited shipping, is FedEx cold chain. This might not be familiar to a lot of people, but what it is that FedEx or Grosskopf will consolidate shipments every Friday, and the following Friday, FedEx will pick up the shipments and send it to local temperature-controlled hubs. And then from there, the last leg of delivery would happen on a Tuesday or Wednesday. So one thing to note is that last leg of delivery is not temperature controlled, but they do try to deliver before noon on those days. So if you have any questions regarding shipping, if you're a Guild member, you can always email guild@thewinefoundry.com. If you're a non-Guild member, you can email shipping@thewinefoundry.com. Thanks.
And there's Bailey.